All right, from an Airstream live in Oxford, Ohio, it's JarvieShow 11. 11. Already 11. That's pretty crazy. And this is the first one, kind of from on the road. My car is still hitched to the Airstream. I am en route to the East Coast, and we are recording live, and I'm taking out a good little chunk of this morning to get you another show because I have some fun things to talk about. What will we talk about? Well, the main subject matter for today is on the subject of Ello. Just to show you that this is not a photographers only show, though photographers, I'm sure, watch it plenty. We're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about Ello. We're going to talk about how it compares to Facebook and Google+. Just some thoughts from the world of Ello, those that are using it, my thoughts, my general experience with it. And we're going to talk about kind of these large social networks and what I'm working on, which is creating a small community on Patreon. So we'll talk a little bit about Patreon, which just released for me this week. Yeah, well, last week. Today is Monday. This show won't go up necessarily on Monday, probably tomorrow. But we will talk about Patreon, Ello, and also what's coming up soon. Well, I'll tell you what's going to come up. In future episodes, I've got some ideas from people that are my patrons, people on YouTube commenting and saying you should do a show about that. Obviously, there's tons of idea. I'm going to have to create a little document so that we can touch on a bunch of those. Some of the photography-centric ones I will be doing for those that I'm mentoring, and some of them will go out publicly, and some of them will just be for those that I mentor and their questions and some YouTube videos and stuff like that. But what I really want to do on an upcoming show is I just spent some time in Idaho, a whole week, with a popular YouTuber named Shay Carl, and I did a kind of a video of a few of the pictures, but what I really want to do is a full recap of my week-long experience with the Butler family, with Shay Carl and his family, and I think that's going to be fun. He just really announced his calendar, and the video's already got I don't know, 500,000 plus views, and it includes a lot of my pictures, and the video was done by Blake O'Neill, and it's been really quite fun to watch. But what it means is that I can share a bunch more of those pictures because they are online, and they've already been shown, and there's 300-400 other pictures that haven't been shown. But I think with the pictures that I have, I can do a great show kind of talking about my experience. And spoiler alert for that future upcoming show, yes, I'll be talking. Yes, they are fun and they are very nice. So that's kind of my experience, probably what you expected. There's no spoiler alert. They're gonna be it's all facade. No, they are pretty much that nice and awesome. If you watch their show, and I know there's Shay, has linked my YouTube, so a lot of people have come over from that and are actively watching. So hello to you guys. Very nice that you've really come in mass over on Instagram, and I'm doing a few things here on YouTube, so hope you enjoy that here as well. Okay, what else is on the show? Let me look at my notes here. Answer to the last big question on the Jarvie Show episode 10. In which I talked about my whole experience of 1 year on the road. So if you want to go and watch episode 10, it's these are shows, they're a little bit longer, but I kind of show a lot of pictures on that one. This one won't have as many pictures, but I'm going to switch over to screen share and show you Ello and kind of compare them with Google Plus and show you what I'm doing on Patreon. So but first, let's continue with this little introduction to the show, which is our introduction's already 4 minutes in. That's how the show goes. All right. Oh, the question, which is how many pictures do you think I took during 1 year on the road? So let's be dramatic on that. Well, no, let's answer it right now. I did have quite a few responses. I'll go over a few of them. They kind of ranged. Tyler was 38,000, and I was okay. There's new people. Roshani said 50,000. Susanna said 100,000. A good friend of mine, Jared, said 105, and I was like, Jared, you kind of know that I'd take a few more. Actually, I haven't taken as many as I expected to on this trip. I you know, when I'm in really cool places and I'm going all day long and I'm taking tons of pictures, I'll take more like 800, maybe even 1,000 on some days. And yes, there were a couple days where I took 1,000 because I was in, you know, I was downtown New York or in Boston, or just things were going on all over the place. And I did take several weddings, so sometimes up to 2,000 pictures during a, you know, 14-hour wedding. There were some days where I was editing all day long, and the average ended up being like 300 or so, 300 to 400 pictures a day. Well, times, you know, 356 or whatever, however many days, 365. I can't remember. I'm dyslexic, maybe. I'm not. I'm not at all. In any case, the answer is closer to what, not what Hazel said, 678,000. It's close to my general yearly thing. I usually take around 200,000 pictures when I'm doing weddings and doing portrait shoots. And this time around, I took 191,000 pictures. And that does not include GoPro stuff. And that does not include most of like my videos and my well, I think I maybe included cell phone pictures. But those are only a couple thousand, so it would only be a couple thousand different. And that includes the A7R, the D700, even some time lapses, which I didn't take too many. That includes none of the GoPro time lapse footage. Includes 800, the 700, the A7, and the A7R. And the 810, yep, the 810, because that was part of my long adventure. And I've taken already 8,000 pictures with my 810, and I've had it 10 days. But it's been a higher average because of what I've been doing the last 10 days. All right, so I think we're about ready to switch over to, I'm going to use a program called Camtasia to record my desktop so you can see my experience with Ello, in case you're interested. I already got tons of content for here, so I wasn't able to do a photo story. But I did record live a photo story on the road, and so I'm going to take that photo story and do that as a separate show, and probably just a photo story. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's learn a little bit about Ello and what I've been doing on Patreon. Thanks. All right, here we go to a screen share to show you Ello. Okay, this isn't actually Ello. This is a feature list that Ello is doing, and that's kind of a basis for what they're doing, is rolling out certain things. It's not done, and that you should understand, because it's very much a project, an ongoing project. So some people are like, I want it when it's all fully functional and totally polished. Do you remember the beginning days of Facebook or some of those other sites? It was not like that. Google Plus, they rolled out things as well. So here we go. This is an Ello. This really isn't Ello either. This is their opening page. And they want you to know that Ello is an invite only. That's a strategy where you kind of create friendships because you were invited by a friend, and it's kind of slowly growing and they're able to test things out. That's not Ello. This is more a little bit like Ello. It's huge pictures. So of course us photographer types are way into it. And there's been a lot of photographers using it because of how immensely large the pictures are. And the experience is, well, kind of like, say hello. You click on that, and then maybe you click on upload, and I upload a picture of some sort. And I don't know. I'll hit this one. I don't really feel like posting a picture right now as we do a video, but I can show you a little bit what it's like. There's a banner page here. There is some shortcuts. Well, if you click on this is where you see, which is going to be a little bit awkward for you guys, for me to share, because they have two lists. On like Facebook and Google Plus, I was used to making tons of lists. A list for my photographer friends, a list for the people I grew up with, a list from people that maybe are patrons on Patreon. And so I would have lots of different lists on Google and Facebook. Here you have two. You have one called Friends and one called Noise. I wish you could like rename this, because Noise isn't really, I don't consider these people Noise. I consider them friends that are just in a separate list. And I check from time to time. And these friends are people like at the moment, and they may not always be here. At the moment, I really want to hear what they're saying. And so in my friends section, this is what my friends have been posting. This picture right here, there's a picture right here. Okay, and not a lot is going on right now. So that's one of the things to mention. Ello is, for me, there's not as many posts happening as like on Facebook or Instagram. When I check those, there's just tons going on. And maybe that's because I have it divided into two, noise and friends. And the noise people aren't the same as friends, so I have to check them both. Okay, so we've got this. Look at these. And I hit the right-hand key. There's lots of little shortcuts. I can get rid of that like notification that someone started following me by hitting Shift-0. The pictures are a little bit even too big for my 27-inch screen. And here we are on Facebook as a comparison, right? And Google Plus as a comparison. And what I've been starting to use, which isn't really a social media type thing. This is more about building community. Here's my Patreon. And I, of course, want to share that a ton. And here is YouTube. So those are some of the places I've been using. So there's a comparison. Now let's talk a little bit about, well, let's go over a few other things so you can see Ello, and then I'm going to give my perspective on Ello, but I'm going to go out of the screen sharing area because it distracts me. And I want to focus on talking to you guys. That's the JarvieShow style. So we got the two lists. Let's go back to that. You got the features thing. You got the look here. So you would go in, for instance, if you wanted to find some people, you could go to ello.co/Jarvie and friend me, and then you maybe would go to someone that you're following. So let's go to find someone that I'm following. I just started following Sly, and he's following 7 other people. So I can look and say, okay, I don't know this guy, but I know these guys. Click on friend. Now, then I could also go back to my profile, click on my guy, my little profile picture, and I click on the people that are following me and find some of the people that I know. And maybe one day I'll get to know some of these people and add them in. All right. At the moment, don't know all of them, but I just want to see because people are joining every day now. And so try to find some extra people to follow. All right, so that's kind of a rundown. All right, now that you got a screen view of what Ello looks like and the different lists, how huge the pictures are, sometimes even too big. Did you see that? I mean, like I could barely fit the pictures in there. So I think a lot of what I'm probably going to do is probably do panorama style pictures or 16:9 pictures because it's almost too big. I'm all right with the little smaller pictures. Do I want you guys to see my pictures bigger? Yes, of course. I think that's great. You'd have to like click an extra button on Facebook or Google Plus to see the picture big. In Ello world, you see them big automatically, unless I'm in your like noise feed or one of those, like when it looked like Pinterest. You see that? I showed that, right? So my thoughts on Ello, should you get it? Yes, I think everyone watching should go in, try to get an invite somewhere for Ello because, well, it may be big. It doesn't mean you have to go on there every day or even every other day or even every week. Go in there, grab your username, especially if you guys have used a username several times. Go in and get their one that you have now. It's like an open market, big time right now. Like big, go in on the open market and get your username. That's, I think, one of the biggest reasons. That's why I invited a couple of my friends. I'm like, I know you guys are big into social media. You need to jump in, grab your username, and, you know, then just maybe wait to see if it becomes big. However, I would say to you guys that are considering using Ello even more and wondering if it's a fun place. This is a good metaphor for it. It's like a party that you get to early, and there's only just a few of you there, and you're like, oh, this is a lame party. So you guys could think this is the lame party, or you could become friends with the people that are at the party already and hang out with them, and then when it becomes a huge mass, way too big party, you still have that close group of friends. Okay, better metaphor. First day of school, recess, and you go out into, recess, and you're playing with this group of kids that becomes like your group for the rest of the year. that's kind of what it was like on Google+. I spent a lot of time when it first started, and I made some friends that are good, real, solid friends even all these years, well, 2 years, 3 years later, like good friends. And then I come back into here, and it's like, oh, I met you at that last party. That's how it feels now for me on Ello. I am hanging out with those same group of friends. You can come in, maybe make a couple friends. There's a lot of photographers on there. As you can see, the pictures are huge. That's why there's a lot of photographers, I think. And because we're a very social, early adopter type of people. However, there may be some other people that are into what you're into. Just don't like, if you're like, I need to have all of my friends on this social network for me to use it, and I can only use one, you're probably still looking at more like Facebook or Instagram, which is the new hot thing. By the way, I get still the most interaction out of Instagram by far. Like hundreds and, well, thousands of likes or hearts or whatever they are, and lots of comments, the most on there, and lots of excitement and people saying great things that make me happy. However, I'm going to use Ello. I'm going to jump in there. I'm going to post a picture once a day. I'm going to maybe share a story, perhaps a different picture from what I posted on Facebook or Google+, and sometimes the same one if it's an interesting story that I need to share a little bit more. But that's me. I use every different little thing. And if you're like that, then Ello's probably good for you. You may want to consider that. Go and get your URL. I'm going to look at my list over here. Go in there. A lot of people have been like, what's the conversation like? It is like the pulse of Ello, the temperature. They're kind of talking about where do we see this going and how excited we are for this. It's not like, let's go live life. Let's introspect. There's a lot of living life and doing other things. There's a lot of introspection going on. I'm not going to necessarily say what I think of Ello was going to become. I particularly am not a huge fan of all the writing. I can't really read it really well. Maybe I'm just not used to the way they write, and it's too long. It's like, we're going to fill the whole page with your text. Well, that's not how we normally read for most books. We read smaller columns, and it's tough, and I'm not used to the font, and the pictures are bigger than I would normally like. So, but it's great. They're all about, Ello is about, if you want to understand it, I'll read you the Ello manifesto, shall we? Okay, I'm going to be reading right here, the Ello manifesto, a dramatic reading by Scott Jarvie. Your social network is owned by advertisers. Every post you share, every friend you make, and every link you follow is tracked. In fact, every step you take, they'll be watching you. Okay, a dramatic reading. Every link you follow is tracked, recorded, and converted into data. Data! Did you hear that? Data! Advertisers buy your data so they can show you more ads. Dun dun dun. You are the product that's bought and sold. We believe there is a better way. We believe in audacity. We believe in beauty and simplicity and transparency. We believe that people who make things and the people who use them should be in partnership. We believe a social network can be a tool for empowerment. You can do it, little Johnny. I know you can. Not a tool for deception, or not a tool to deceive, coerce, and manipulate. But a place to connect, create, and celebrate life. And unicorns, and kittens, and love. You are not a product. Thank you, I know. Dramatic reading. I did take a little bit of liberty there. Maybe I should post this up as a separate video because it was so good, obviously. Did you get it, though? They're all about, puppies and unicorns and happiness. They're all about not having ads and a different tool, They're not like, yeah, we know we're not going to make billions like Facebook, but we're going to create this great thing for you guys. that it will make the world a better place. So, what do you think about that? Let's look at, I mean, when you saw Facebook, go look at Facebook. There's not a lot of ads. On YouTube, there's a few ads, but it's really helps the creators of the content. It goes back to the people making your content. Facebook doesn't give back to anyone, so that's kind of a ripoff. Like if I'm bringing thousands of people to Facebook to read something, I get nothing out of it. And so yeah, kind of a jip, I guess. But they've created something cool that we all use, and that's one of the things. We all use Facebook. Or do you not? So where am I in this whole world of this? I'm a big social media user, connoisseur. I love it. And I loved jumping in and creating this kind of big group and getting more numbers on Google Plus and subscribers on Facebook. Getting a lot more people on Instagram has been very fulfilling recently and has led to direct interaction and lots of excitement, and to put all my projects out there to the world and have a lot of people see it and have a business to say, oh, we want to work with you because you can put that all out there into the world. We want to sponsor you and help you out in your dreams and endeavors. So it's been great. I am, however, going in a separate direction. I'm staying with these bigger platforms, but I'm starting to use Patreon to create a small community. Right now, I launched it, just a few days ago. Some of you are on there, and there's like 30 people. It's a small community. I haven't pushed it out too much. I know you've heard it on these Jarvie shows a couple times now, but I just started mentioning it on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. I haven't mentioned it on Google Plus yet. So those people that are my friends on Google Plus joining me because they want to hear what I think about Ello. Well, I think that there is a place for putting your information out there to tons of people, and a place to work hand in hand with a small community to get us. I am out here traveling the country, and I have been meeting for several days in a row with different people that are my patrons, people that have maybe been believing in me for years and supporting me by sharing stuff. Well, now I am going in a different little direction where I'm doing less weddings, and I'm starting to do these dream projects that I've been thinking of for years. And I've been starting to do videos like this, which doesn't pay the bills, but I want to do this, and I want to connect with people, answer their questions, share my thoughts about the world and about photography and about locations and uplifting things. And there are people out there, 30 so far, that say, we love what you're doing. We want to see you do more. And if this $1 or $5 helps, we are all for it. $5 on a monthly basis to see you write these cool stories and share vlogs and your daily adventures, and to see you do your big projects that you want to do. And that means you need more extra free time. Well, here's a little bit of financial incentive to sit down and take a day to record videos like this, or to write stories, or to work on bigger projects. Well, that's what I'm doing, and I'm really connecting with these people because they believe in me. And it's something about when you click that button, you're like, I am part of Jarvie's big projects. I am part of what he's doing. I am his patron. It's not maybe thousands, it's $1 a month or $5 a month, but to me that means so much more than the dollar that it represents. I'm still going to put it out there for hundreds of thousands of people to see, but there's going to be maybe 1,000 people that say, we really appreciate what you're doing, and here's our way of showing a little extra support and becoming part of this little community, a group. Okay, so there is a place for both of those things, and they're both interesting announcements, and I want to talk about both Patreon and Ello. Let's go back to Ello because that's the subject of today. No ads, and where is it going to actually lead for me? I'm getting my friends interaction with Facebook, though I'm missing a lot of what my friends do, so perhaps Ello will play a little bit of a role. It's like I'm going to see everything that they do. As far as I know, do they have any logarithms that's like I'm only going to see parts of what they do? And I have to really make sure that I don't add so many, you're not going to go in and add thousands of people, or you're not going to have a good experience looking at the feed. You got your two lists. I wonder if it'll remain two forever. And a good way to access them. Google Plus had lots of lists, but you couldn't really access them very well. And on Twitter, you didn't access them very well. And Facebook, I mean, most of you guys don't even know that there's lists on Facebook. So they were never used and accessed very well. So reading stuff seems a little difficult. Videos, I can't really post this video on there seemingly very easily. I haven't seen how to do that. I haven't seen many people posting videos yet either. So am I going to keep using it? Yeah, I'll use it. I'm going to keep on reading stuff that maybe Thomas shares or Scoble writes about, to get a pulse of where Ello is going. I'm on there. I'm going to stick with it. I don't use Google Plus as much as I used to, and that may end up being Ello, or I may continue to use it even more. Right now, it's just a couple pictures a day. And I think that people don't post too much because they know that you're going to see every one and they don't want to be moved over to noise. Or maybe it's not that bad of a deal. Okay, I want to hear what your thoughts on Ello, if you have it. If you're looking for an invite, maybe just post it here on the YouTube, and maybe as a little community together, we can get some of you guys on there, share invites and stuff like that. Talk amongst each other, see if you can make that happen. Right now, it is a little bit of a club, that party feel where you made a click and you're just sticking in that party, and your friends may not jump over because they have to feel like Facebook isn't doing it for them anymore. Why do you switch over to Ello? I'm there because I'm early adopter to everything. All right. So those are some thoughts on Ello. Some questions that you guys have asked. Let's go find one of the questions from the last time around. Do you plan on going all across the U.S. to meet patrons? Stunaleg asked that. The answer is yes. I will be meeting patrons everywhere I go. I want to meet some of you guys, especially I'm going to be in the Boston area for a little bit. I'm going to be in the New York area, the DC area. I have to go to Rhode Island, which is a small state, so I could meet people there pretty easily. I'm going to Connecticut and Delaware. I mentioned DC, right? I'm sure I'll be there for some of those places I'll be for a couple of days. And I would like to meet patrons because I really do have this desire to meet and make stronger connections. But right now, I'm really trying hard to connect with them. And part of that is meeting up with patrons, taking a couple of pictures, sharing one on Facebook. I'm on the borderline of deciding whether all of my future photo shoots will be for patrons. What do you think about that? Yes, I know that you can go on and get a $1 patronage and stuff like that. And that patrons also get a discount on photo shoots. So it's like economically sound to go in and be a patron. But I believe in the system this much that, yeah, I think for the time being, meetups and photo shoots and stuff like that will be with the people that believe in me and are doing this patron thing. There's a lot of reasons behind it, and I know I'm not the most eloquent to say just what Patreon is. I know it's somewhat marketing to say these things, but it's so much more. I've loved it so far, and I've felt closer to these people already, and I feel like if I have a big project, it's not a matter of like, I'm going to spend 100 hours trying to round up the troops and get them believing in what I'm doing. They've already kind of stated, like, I believe in what you're doing. We support your projects. And they're already there for me. The troops are already assembled and ready. That should be it. Next time on JarvieShow, you will see another photo story. I recorded it in the field, like I said earlier on the show. And it's pretty cool. I'm back on the road. You've just heard where I'm going. I took the day off yesterday to watch LDS General Conference, and I took a few pictures. It's been great. The next show that I do will be about my experience with the Shaytards. So especially if you're a fan, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. And if you love what I'm doing, I'll mention it plenty of times. Go support me on Patreon. And there are rewards that I try to make more valuable than what you're actually putting in. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Also, future shows will be how I'm liking my experience with the Sigma lenses and how am I liking the experience with the D810. Those are more photo orientated, like for photographers, so I may do them as a kind of JarvieShow photo only, and I'll share that in a few different places. All right, and give me some show ideas and some pictures you'd like me to do photo stories about, anything, and tell me what you think about Ello. All right, take care.